Well, good evening, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Friday Night Free For All right here on Metal Mayhem ROC. Hey, Southern Kale, your usual host. Not sure where he is. I think he's going to see KK's Priest tomorrow night, and he's getting a head start. But in any case, I'm pitch hitting, and we got a good one tonight. We have a band from Los Angeles, California, but let's not get excited. It's not one of those hairspray bands. As a matter of fact, it's an extreme metal band fronted by a nice, young, hot vocalist that goes by the name of Melanie Johnson, and they just released their debut album called Fury Made Flesh. Get down to the bottom of that. Melanie Johnson, Travis Hildreth, welcome to the show. How are we?
Thank you so much. Doing well.
Doing great, John. Thanks for having us on today.
Good. And Melanie, right off the bat, I meant to say a hot vocalist, meaning your performance, because
I knew what you meant. I just thought it was funny. Young hot vocalist. I was like, I'll take it. Yeah.
Well, right off the bat, the title of the album, Fury Made Flesh, came out in January, your first full length. Where does a title like this come from?
So the title is from the song Bringer of Death, which is about the Hindu goddess of destruction, Kali. And our bassist Jeff wrote that. I'd say like a good handful of our songs tend to have a theme of like feminine power and things like that. Not like all of them, but like we have a good amount. So of course, Holly, the goddess of destruction, was like a great choice for that. The cover of the album also features an image of Kali. So that's sort of a theme we went with. And, you know, it just sounds metal.
It does sound metal. It sounds real metal. So you're the vocalist, Travis, rhythm guitarist or lead guitar?
Yeah, so we have two guitar players, myself and Win Melkowi, and he does most of the lead. Like we'll switch off on some stuff, do some harmonies, that kind of thing. But mostly rhythm for me, yeah.
Okay, all right. So without getting too far into the history of the band, Melanie joined a few years ago, and it was coming off the heels of a broken up band from before. Now, yes. I don't know if you want to explore any of that, give a quick rundown what happened before this carnation started.
Oh, sure. Yeah. It's interesting, intriguing, maybe. So myself and our drummer, Jim Walensky, we were in a band called Salvage 67. And we were gaining some traction here in LA, playing some great shows at the Whiskey, stuff like that. And that lead singer it ended up murdering his wife. So he had to go away. And Jim and I were, we've been together since the early 2000s in different bands and stuff. So we were just kind of at a loss. We were shocked, first of all, and we just continued playing and writing, and we threw something out for a vocalist. Melanie shows up. She is fantastic, and so that's where Second Shooter kind of started.
Well, all due respect for the deceased and everything, but something like that, a lot of in metal, extreme metal, there's imagery, but that's taken to the next step. And well, you know what? Something good came of it that we got Melanie now. And Melanie, so some quick show research. You come from the East Coast and you make it to LA, and tell us how you got into this and how do you become an extreme vocalist? That's the thing. Even though there's a long list of some idols, how did this come about?
Yeah, so I grew up on the East Coast, and then I came out to LA after college, just for the weather and the general vibes of California. And during the day, I'm a software engineer, so I was doing that, and I kind of like needed a creative outlet, like all of us and all of the viewers and listeners, I'm sure, like I've always been passionate about music. And going to shows has always been like a highlight of my life. But I guess 6 years ago now, I decided I would almost 7 years ago now, I decided I would try and be on like the other side of that and make music. And I just kind of tried it out. I was like, oh, I want to learn to scream. And then I was just like in my apartment. I got in trouble with my apartment like a couple weeks in and had to like start renting out studio space. But I got into it kind of late in life, like as somebody that like, like I was in my late 20s and I had never done anything musical before, and I needed a creative outlet, and I started, and my life has like completely changed for the better.
Well, so I take it you're around 30.
About to be 33, yeah.
Okay.
So it's never too late.
No, it isn't. It's so you came from the generation, let's see, 20 years ago. The new metal era. What was your era? Stuff like Mudvayne, Skillet. Skillet has a lead female singer. What were you listening to?
I just consume all kinds of heavy music, every genre. Actually, my main thing in the early 2000s is more and until now is more like the post-hardcore, emo, screamo, that kind of stuff is like my main thing. And then I just got more and more into different flavors of metal as I went, and was like, hey, I really like this aggressive stuff. So all kinds of things. Like within metal, I'd say my favorite band is Opeth. Just kind of went down that progressive route for a minute, got into the heavy progressive stuff, and then I was like, oh, I like the heavy stuff better than the just progressive stuff. I just love heavy genres in general.
What about you, Travis? What's your go-to?
Oh, my go-to, like Pantera, Lamb of God, very super heavy. I all the way back to like Megadeth, Anthrax, like that's kind of that's my wheelhouse when I was really young. I'm like really young. And then getting into a lot of the new metal like Korn and Mudvayne, Slipknot. Slipknot's a huge influence. Jim Root. I actually just today picked up my Jim Root signature Charvel guitar. So it's that's kind of where I lay. I'm really into like the really heavy percussive like groove stuff. So most of my riffs have like a lot of groove to it. And then you throw vocals like Mel has, which she is so awesome, and she just brings it into what I call just second shooter. It's different, it's groovy, but it's super heavy, and the vocals are there too, so it's awesome.
Well, I would put you, not that I'm like a carnival forecaster, you're probably like 44 years old.
Myself, I just on February 23rd turned 50, if you could believe that.
Okay, because
thank you. That's very.
Oh, I'm 56. So my heyday was the 80s. My first show was Ted Nugent in 1980. Yeah. So just Monday night on my live radio show, the theme was we revisited 1984, and great. It's the golden age. So I had a chance to see all those bands. So when the landscape of heavy metal expands and it gets to what Second Shooter's releasing and your influences, I've been around for all that. And tell you the truth, a lot of the 90s stuff, I wasn't on board with it because, one, I was starting a family. Two, I'm like, hey, what happened to all my 80s stuff that was fun? Yeah. And everyone's all dreary.
Yeah, exactly.
When we would talk extreme metal, Cannibal Corpse, we're there at the beginning. Some of the heavier stuff, Obituary and that Tampa stuff. So that's all part of it. So when Second Shooter decides to craft their music, it looks like you just have a whole kaleidoscope of influences.
It is awesome. We all are just like legit metalheads, and we span back many years. So within that, within our influences comes a lot of different takes on music, and stuff. So it is pretty awesome.
You guys go to shows a lot? Are you able?
Yeah, I do a lot of shows. I just went to Tool recently. My wife isn't into like the super duper heavy stuff that I love. But a bridge band for my wife and I is, a band like Tool, and we just saw them in Ontario, California. It was awesome. And then pretty soon when Lamb of God comes through, in Mastodon, I'm going to go to that one here in LA. That's a for sure always. If I'm in town, that's it. I'm going. Yeah.
Yeah. Two of the guys, Braun, they're from Rochester. They're our Rochester friends.
Oh, cool.
So, yeah. So whenever they're in town, we hook up with them. We do the interviews. And guy on my team, Phil the Rager, he grew up with them. He was in the early band with them. Their bands all played together. Yeah. So Mastodon's a good band. A lot of these tours come around. So, Melanie, when you pivoted, so this is like your first band?
Yes.
And do you write, or does Travis and the rest of the guys write and you just bring in the lyrics, or you're finding your way now?
Yeah, I haven't contributed to the instrumentals. I mostly write the lyrics and the vocal parts. Even then, on our most recent album, a lot of the lyrics were written by other people, and then I put my spin, my cadence, my voice to it. Independently, like separately, I have started the past couple of years writing like little like piano ballads. Like, I think this chord sounds pretty. I think that, but nothing like metal. I wouldn't know where to start to write a metal composition like these guys come up with.
Well, it's Women's History Month, and we're respectful here. We're actually doing a show with Becky Baldwin next week. My partner, my co-host on the show, he goes by the name Metal Walt. He's down in Jersey. So, Travis, you're talking about Jersey connection. He's in East Hanover. So part of why I wanted to get Second Shooter on here, one, was to expose your band to our listeners, but two, explore this angle of the, women in rock, and you as a extreme metal vocalist. Who are some of your idols? Because, it goes all the way back to the Runaways and Lita Ford, and you have Doro. But then you also have, the 90s people. Carla over at Butcher Babies. You got Angela. You got the whole Arch Enemy, all that crew. Christina Orianthi, even though she plays guitar. Nita Strauss. There's a lot there. Lizzie Hale. Did you gravitate to any of those, or what was it like being a female getting into this?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the people you mentioned are badass. Growing up, I listened to Arch Enemy when it was Angela, and that kind of always got me in this mindset where, like, years before I even thought about ever making music, it was just kind of like, in my head, there was no like line between like men can do this and women can't. Because I remember hearing Arch Enemy for the first time, being told it was a woman. I was like, oh wow, women can do that, cool. And never really went back to like any surprise about that. I'd say like my top idol is Julie Christmas. She does a lot of post metal projects. Battle of Mice, some solo stuff. Made Out of Babies is a little bit different from that. And she did vocals for Cult of Luna album Mariner a few years back. And she just like, what I love about her emotions is about her music is that like it's so emotional. Like the way she does her vocals, she'll like sing, she'll scream, she'll growl, she'll just do these like creepy whispers. So I love that. And I love just like, vocal variety and just sort of like using my voice to make all kinds of sounds and hopefully emotionally evocative, lyrics and presenting them in that way. But yeah, so many badass women in metal. I'd say that Angela was an early like influence / not like influence, just inspiration of like, oh yeah, obviously women can do the rap hot thing. So that was cool to have had.
Travis, when you're looking for a new vocalist, what led you to take on a female vocalist? Were you worried about the stigma that like it was a gimmick, or
right?
Why a female?
Yeah, so we held open auditions, and we had some material that we sent to people, and we even one of our things was you can take this music and put whatever lyric over it you want. It doesn't have to be anything that's been written already. We wanted it to be, a song we knew so we could jam it live or whatever. But Melanie showed up, and there was just something about her. First of all, she's just super cool. But beyond that, she's intelligent and also very talented. So what we were working with was super raw talent. We were fine with that because we knew we were going to just rebuild a band. And we knew that we had plenty of time. We had these tunes, and we were just going to sit on it. We weren't looking to play shows right away or anything like that. Melanie came in and we were just like, hey, do you want to listen to some of the tunes? And she's all, no, man, let's just like do this one live. And we were like, well, she came prepared. She came on time. She had her own transportation. We're going, wow, we're in LA. And she came in. She did everything right. We were blown away. I just looked at him and I go, we had no real disposition or anything on what we wanted, male, female, anything. We just wanted what was going to fit. And Mel came in, she fit the bill, and the rest is history, man. With her attitude, she was willing to learn. She was willing to, we've recorded a lot. So when we started the recording process, she was just all ears, very coachable. And she had her own mind and her own ideas, which that is a big thing in our band as a whole. Even how the band is right now, like everybody's ideas are great. I mean, I usually start like kind of with a riff. I bring it to the band and we go with it. Like we write the song. I've come in with plenty that were like, oh yeah, let's revisit that. Never. Type of
yeah. And the thing that you said, the reliability, and let me start by saying that it does not matter at all that you're a female as a singer. It's zero influence whatsoever in the metal community. It's, if anything, it's everyone's in it 100%. But when you start getting in a band, you have to travel together. You have to be reliable. There's so many give and takes. And it sounds like that's what sold it. And that's awesome because, it gets everyone excited. Like, Travis, what you just said, that the band's working together for the best, outcome for the band. And it's a true band. Because let's admit it, you're on the road. You got to, live with people. And that brings me to, how was it on the road for this 10 or 12 dates you're doing out with?
It was awesome. We had the greatest time. First of all, like, we all come from different walks of life, different past experiences, different family units, different everything. Even within the metal community, our influences are all a little bit different, but they hit like the road was so awesome. And I just remember thinking, there are good friends of mine. There are family of mine where I'd be 6 days in going, I can't wait to get home. But I was telling the band the other day at rehearsal that it was so awesome. Not one fight, not one argument, nothing. And the other thing is we're all professionals in other things in life. So we know how important it is to be on time, to do exactly what you say you're going to do, to have integrity behind not just your music, but your gear, how you set up, that when you're there waiting around for sound check. Because we were the opener on the tour package. And by the way, the tour treated us so great. And we felt a full share of what we felt totally accepted by everybody. And when sound check came, it came, and we were just ready to go. And that's all we wanted to do. We knew our music was going to stand for itself. We have good crowds here, but getting out of California was awesome too, because we got to play to people who didn't hear us or see us before, and the reception was awesome. And we're looking forward to doing it again. Gloria and everybody who put together that tour, Bodybox, the guys in Bodybox, the guys Go Ahead and Die, all of them. We love all of them. We made new friendships that will last forever, man. We'll play with those guys anytime. We love it.
Without getting into all the details, how come you didn't keep going on the second leg? Is it just business?
We all wanted to. At this point in time, everyone in the band, we all have day jobs. I'm an educator at school, so it's like I can't be gone, for too long all at one time. Plus, this was our first time out, and it coincided perfectly with the release of the album, so that couldn't have been scheduled better. But the next time we can go out longer, and like as this thing moves forward, I think we can go out longer times. So.
Well, you're right. What you just mentioned there, it's like it's a win. The album came out in January. You got to get these dates in, because in this landscape, nothing's guaranteed. Tours are canceling. I talked to so many bands where they have an album done, but it's not coming out, or all that jazz. So that's awesome. Congratulations on that. Melanie, would you give me your take on being on the road with these guys and these other bands? Did you have the same feeling Travis had?
Yeah, it was cool. It was an unbelievable experience. It was like one of the most fun things I've ever done, maybe the most fun thing I've ever done. It was so cool just going out there and like sharing our music with people and like winning over rooms of people that a lot of them had no idea who we were beforehand. And, people coming to the merch booth and be like, you have like, a few people would say like, oh, we were kind of skeptical when we saw you guys. We didn't know what to make of you. And then you started, like, as soon as you started playing, we were like, that's fucking metal, which is a kind of weird thing to say to a musician, but it was still cool. And like, and they'd be like, and now you have like new lifelong fans or whatever. And it was just really cool, like winning over these groups of strangers in cities we had never been to. Super fun. I'm really lucky that I always tell people I found like the only 4 musicians in LA that don't have egos. Like, these guys are so cool. They're so chill. And like, yeah, everyone just gets along really well. Our drummer Jim, his wife Victoria came, and she does everything. Like, she does more loading and unloading of gear than many of the guys. She's huge. She's like huge to our success. Like, she's amazing, and she and I spent a lot of time together, so I can't speak to being squeezed in with the guys all the time. Sometimes we would take a separate ride, but all the time the 5 of us plus Victoria spent together was just really, really amazing. We fortunately, like, having day jobs and stuff, we had hotels, so we didn't have to like sleep in the tour van or anything like that. So that was comfy. I don't know if I could necessarily have done the whole roughing it tour life. I mean, it would have been worth it, honestly. If somebody said do it again, except you have to sleep in the most uncomfortable position possible, I don't care. I mean, I'm still young. It was everything about it was perfect. It was so much fun.
How many bands were on this bill, and were there any other females in any of these bands, or was it just you and the drums?
So Go Ahead and Die, which is Max Cavalera's new project with his son Igor Amadeus Cavalera. They have a female bassist, Jackie, who is so cool, so talented. She's mainly a guitarist, and like she kind of got roped in last minute and was just killing it, destroying it on the bass. So that was really cool. And then besides that, we were the only 2 women on the tour package. Bodybox was the other band, and they were so much fun to watch. Super heavy, but yeah, all guys.
And what kind of towns did you play in? And what size rooms were these?
So we played in like the, I guess, Southwest. Most of the dates were in Texas. Mostly big cities were in Austin, Dallas, Houston, Corpus Christi. And the venues ranged in size. I'd say, Trav, what were our trees in Dallas was pretty big. What else?
Yeah. like close to 1,000 capacity for a lot of them. And just so awesome. The venues as compared, like, cause being from Southern California and LA, and once you kind of get a little bit of a head of local steam, you're playing places like the Whiskey and stuff like that. And that's world famous Whiskey or whatever. We got a chance to play in these other cities with venues that were just as historical, and the experience was awesome. It was just awesome to be like a part of the package and like see how things run, as opposed to being like a local band showing up with all your gear and you're out on the street until 15 minutes before you get on, and it's like nobody cares if you have a line check or anything. It's just get your stuff on, get your stuff off, that kind of thing.
Well, Houston's a big metal town. They have that Heroes gig. What's that called? You familiar with it? It's coming up in March.
Yeah, is that the festival you're talking about? Or
yeah, it's
but I think one of the guys in Lockjaw, we played with a band called Lockjaw. I think they're from Austin, or maybe they're from Houston, something like that. He was maybe mentioning something about.
Yeah, and God, we were just talking with there's a lot of Houston bands. Larry Berrigan from Hellstar, his band was playing there in Hellstar, and James Rivera, and like just the network. So you guys went through that Texas metal belt. That's awesome. And
it was awesome. We were well received every night. People were showing up and ready to jam. I mean, on a Tuesday, on a Wednesday, like, they worked the next day, and they still came out to the show. They wanted to get some headbanging in, which was awesome.
Let's talk about I Can't Get Over It, Fury Made Flesh. Tell us about the album. What's some of your favorite tracks? How much of it were you able to play? How much of it did you play live? Just tell us about it. Melanie, what's your favorite songs off of that one?
Ooh, it kind of changes. I'll be like, oh, this is probably my favorite. I really like Palm Reader. There's a lot of different stuff going on. The lead guitar comes in really hot. It's the one song where I do regular singing in addition to the screams. Like half of the chorus is clean vocals. So it just gets like a lot of variety in there. That one we play in LA a lot, but we actually didn't play that one on the tour. It's a pretty difficult song to play. Our lead guitarist, when needs to like stance up to do like the intro and outro. We didn't play that one, but we actually did play a lot of material. Did we play Bringer of Death?
We didn't play Bringer of Death on the tour. Everything else, though,
I feel like all the other 8 songs on the album we played on the tour, something like that. So we really got to like show a lot of it, and people would like come up to the merch booth, and we were selling like a remaster of our EPs, and we were selling new album. They're like, so which album were most of those songs from? Because I want it. And we were like, oh yeah, that's new shit. Like, yeah, get the new album. So it went over really well.
So were you on No, you weren't. This is the first album you're on, because the band had 2 EPs before.
The EPs I was also on those, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And then since we self-produce everything, I say we, but mostly our bassist Jeff does most of the work. We self-produce, and we had put out those in the end of 2018 and the end of 2019. And then last year, our bassist was like, hey, people are going to be listening to us, and we've gotten so much better at mixing and mastering. I'm just going to like remaster the old tracks real quick so they like sound way better. So that was pretty cool to have like better versions of that, because we've grown so much in the production area in those 4 or 5 years.
Cool. I guess that's the advantage of being a young band, that you could go back and remaster without anyone really realizing. So.
Yeah.
So what's ahead for Second Shooter now? What's the plan?
We're already starting to write the next album. I've got like four songs basically in the tank, and I just sent the rest of my band kind of the very early takes of those. So we're back in the studio, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna probably release. do a cover or two, and then release those, just kind of randomly.
Keep up some traction, keep people thinking about us by putting out some cool covers.
That's cool. The videos, I saw a couple videos. How do you guys do the videos? Do you find them beneficial, or is it something you have to do?
What do you mean, like the music video we put out? Or?
Yeah.
So we only have one like official video for one of our songs. It was a lot of fun. It was a local film student did it for free. He actually put out an ad on Metal Sucks, like, hey, looking for an LA band for me to make your music video for free. The whole process is really cool, went really well. I still love how that video turned out. And yeah, we have ideas for other ones, so for the album. So we definitely want to pursue that. We're thinking one for Palm Reader, the song that I mentioned. So yeah, we just kind of have to find local people that are good at it and cool to work with, like our first experience, and we are good to go.
Cool. So again, the album Fury Made Flesh. Guys, where can people find out about Second Shooter? Let's share your socials.
Yeah, so we're on everything. Our Instagram is Second Shooter Band, our Facebook Second Shooter Band, secondshooterband.com has links to everything. We're on all the streaming platforms. Well, YouTube Music's kind of weird, whatever. We're on YouTube Music too. We're on all the platforms. Definitely check out the new album. And yeah, we'll try and keep our social fairly active. We try to be good about that, but we're all kind of old. But no, definitely follow us. Here with.
You're not old.
Okay, we're old compared to like the Zoomers that like live and breathe social media, and they're like, oh yeah, like I'm in a band and I love posting stuff on social media. And I'm like you were asking about the video, like do you do it because you have to? Video is fun, but social media we do because we have to. But
who does all that? Who handles the social media for you?
All of us. We just put stuff up when we can.
Travis, you like doing that, or is it just aggravation?
You know what? I wouldn't say aggravation. The aggravating part to me is that I'm not like skilled on it, just because like growing up, it wasn't an everyday thing for me. Like I had my Walkman and my music was right there, and I had 10 songs available to me, not 300, like on an iPod or something like that. It's not really irritating. It's just I'm not really great at it, probably because I haven't practiced enough. But I mean, I'll do a video or whatever and throw it on, and I get it usually on the right place or whatnot. What I have seen is how important it is, and that is very preached now because the Chipster is doing a lot of our PR work, and I think that's how we got the interview with you. They do a lot of great, awesome work. They're just super cool to work with too. That has been very helpful.
These interviews have been really fun. That gives us an easy social media post, like, hey, look at this,
Yeah, and not to cut you off, Travis, but it's a constant. For what we're doing up here at Metal Mayhem ROC, I had to learn it. I had to learn Instagram. It's our outlet. I work full time I own a business, and this is a DIY too. And it's just a constant. And Chipster, you're in good hands there because we do a lot of stuff with them. And honestly, we get inundated with press requests all the time. And when we get something from Chip, it goes right to the top. And it's just like, so, you're doing something right with that. But in the social media, sometimes you think, what the hell? What is all this? Are they even paying attention? I guess they do. But, I think the band will do our share here. Like I said, I have my radio show on Monday nights on Metal Devastation Radio. So we have it. I'll pass it along, and anything we could do here. Any chance of, I know it's a long ways away, but touring more, getting on the East Coast?
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, we totally want to. In fact, the East Coast, an East Coast leg would be awesome. Because we did like the Texas and Oklahoma City and New Mexico most recently. Yes, we definitely want to tour again. It was super fun, I thought, and we had a lot of engagement. I think it did great for our band, and I mean, that's what we want to do. We want to tour. We want to play in front of people. We don't want to stay in our studio and just play our songs, by ourselves. We want to get out there and do it,
It has to make sense too. And, like you said, you're all professionals and you have jobs and you got to make it happen. So, all right, again, Melanie Johnson, Travis Hildreth, Second Shooter. Go out, get the new album, Fury Made Flesh, and support the young buns and, do the best for all. Hey, you two, thank you for spending the evening with us.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
This was more fun.
All
right, you too. For Southern Gales Friday Night Free For All, I'm the Vernomatic, and this is Metal Mayhem ROC.
Metal for life.
Thank you for listening to Metal Mayhem ROC. Check out our website at metalmayhemroc.com for information on podcasts, archives, links to all our live radio shows, and all sorts of info. Please like, follow, and share with everyone, even your non-metal friends. And always remember to keep it heavy.